stop, made me wanna rap right now. Red line, keep it going, left now. Dropped off, feeling got the windows down. Nothing else matters, only us right now. Cause everybody's over good intentions. Really all I really want is your attention. You're my beat now, playing on repeat our love. And nothing can go wrong, living a love song, yeah. Let me show you the way. I'll be your high beams in the rain. Blast off going outer space. Cause you really made my fancy work. So tell me where you wanna take it. I'm your figure, you could pay me naked. Like a picture, I can see our love running wild. Baby, be my weekend. Love the way you go, see when we're painting, yeah. Looking at you, girl, I can control it, yeah. Everybody betting that we don't make it, yeah. We gotta leave it up to luck now, yeah. Miles away, far from what they would say about us. I'm not afraid, cause this feeling has changed. Oh, from luck to fate, I bet on the love every day. Don't care about what people say. So tell me where you wanna take it. I'm your figure, you could play me naked. Like a picture, I can see our love running wild. Baby, be my weekend. Love the way you bust me when we paint it, yeah. Looking at you, girl, I can't control it. Everybody betting that we don't make it. We don't have to leave it up to luck now, yeah. Don't keep my love on the low, low. Keep my love on the low, low. You can throw me like a yo-yo, but I promise I won't let go. If you don't trust me by now, tell me right now. What can I do just to keep you around? Love on the low, low. Don't keep my love on the low, low. Yeah, she's a keeper, but I just can't keep her. She be running when I try to get deeper, yeah. She's slipping through my fingers, and I try how to please her. I'm facing it. She put me through the test, I'm acing it. Putting in time, she's wasting it. All I'm saying is, don't keep my love on the low, low. Keep my love on the low, low. You can throw me like a yo-yo, but I promise I won't let go. If you don't trust me by now, tell me right now. What can I do just to keep you around? Love on the low, low. Don't keep my love on the low, low. Low, low. Oh man, rolling up, trying me, looking so good. Rocking that white hoodie with a ponytail. Girl, I'm wishing I can read your mind. Yeah, read your mind. Yeah, I'm facing it. She put me through the test, I'm acing it. Shaking my head, but I'm bracing it. All I'm saying is, don't keep my love on the low, low. Keep my love on the low, low. You can throw me like a yo-yo, but I promise I won't let go. If you don't trust me by now, tell me right now. What can I do just to keep you around? Love on the low, low. Don't keep my love on the low, low. Don't be scared, baby. boy, wanna keep it cool, but I know every time you move, got me frozen. I get so shy, it's obvious. Yeah, catching feels like butterflies. If I say what's on my mind, would I hit bullseye? Dude, I'm ready in a fight. Baby, I feel like you play so life. Oh, yeah, yeah, tonight. Yeah, tonight. If your heart beats so stay with them, you know. 'Cause I boom, boom, boom from head to hell. I know love, it is such a funny thing, a mystery. Oh Lord, gotta get to know you more. 'Cause I can feel a real connection, a supernatural attraction. I got the feels for you, yeah, 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 yeah. You have stolen my heart, oh yeah. Never let it go, oh, oh, no, never let it go, oh, oh, oh. Riding straight to my heart, oh yeah. I got all the feels for sure, yeah, I got all the feels for ya. Boy, 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 I know I get the feels. Boy, 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 I know you feel it too. Sway in the moonlight, dance in the dark, I know that I caught your eye. So we all the same vibe. Wonder what's on your mind. You got me good and I wanna be a fool. If it's down, well, I wanna be a fool. Underneath the neon lights, baby, electricity tonight, baby. I know love, it is such a funny thing, a mystery. Oh, gotta get to know you more. 'Cause I can feel a real connection, a supernatural attraction. I got the feels for you, yeah, 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 yeah. You have stolen my heart, oh yeah. Never let it go, oh, oh, no, never let it go, oh, oh, oh. Riding straight to my heart, oh yeah. I got all the feels for sure, yeah, I got all the feels for ya. Boy, I know I get the feels. Boy, I know you feel it too. Boy, I know I get the feels. Boy, I know you feel it too. You got my attention, so what's your intention? You tell me, baby, what's the deal? Oh, well, look and I know it, baby. My eyes reveal that you give me the feels. So yeah, my heart, oh yeah. Never let it go, oh, oh, no, never let it go, oh, oh, oh. Riding straight to my heart, oh yeah. I got all the feels for sure, yeah, I got all the feels for ya. Boy, I know I get the feels. Boy, I know you feel it too. Boy, I know I get the feels. Boy, I know you feel it too.
Hello guys, welcome back to Cybersecurity Stream. So today is lecture 3. Don't be scared by me, okay? So today we're going to learn how to crack password. I will show you how. That's why it's not safe for me to show my face, so I have to wear this. Okay, so let me tell you agenda for today. I think even my voice sounds different. They have a filter here, sounds so cool. Okay, so today, first part, we learn how to crack my password, okay, for 3 kind of things. So hash file, zip file, and server, SSH server. And then we'll talk more about hash functions. And also I will show you how to hack into SSH server by the end of class. Okay, I think just kidding, this is too hot, I cannot see anything. Hold on. Okay, not that one too hot already. Cannot see anything. So finally I'm back. Now this is better. Okay, Now, so we have a few things, actually 3 things, and it will be quite technical one. Okay, we continue with hash function first. The other day, previously in cybersecurity stream, we talked about hash functions and why we need it, what it is used for. So now I'll show you actually how it works, like how we actually use hash functions. And after that, after we totally understand about hash function, we'll talk about 2 attacks that we can do. So one is called a brute force attack and one is called a dictionary attack. Okay, cannot wear for 1 hour, cannot even see what I type in. Now, after that, in the end of the class, in the last session, I will show you how we can actually hack into a SSH server. Alright, so that is pretty much the 3 things that we want to do today. Okay, so don't do that, I cannot see anything. Okay, now let's go back to your slide. So for today, the slide will still be the one that we used in the previous class on the Wednesday night one, because we still have about halfway to go. Okay, so the other day we talked about hash functions, and by the end of the class I explained some problem that we might have with hash. So for example, hash collisions where you have 2 different input but you get the same kind of hash value. Now, today I will show you the usage of hash in demo. So earlier when we first learned about hash value, we know that, okay, just as a recap, anything that you put into a hash function, it will give you a hash digest. We call this a hash output. Okay, it doesn't matter what kind of file you put in. It could be a text file, image file, a program, or anything. Now, one thing you notice is the hash value that you see here. Actually, they look kind of like the same length. Okay, so here what we can know is we don't care what is the input, but the output is always the same length. So it wouldn't be too difficult. Let's say if I have a very large video file and I want to get a hash value for that file, then it won't take very long, because you see the hash signature is actually the fixed length. It's not really that long, which is also why it can be cracked, as what I will be showing you later. Okay, now so 2 things that we can use hash functions to do. First one is to verify a file. The second one is to keep the password as a hash digest. So last week I also showed you one example like this. Okay, now this is the first usage of hash. When we send password to the server, when we try to log in, we cannot send as plain text. It's too dangerous. So we always want to hash your password first. So for example here, my original password is 1234. I hash it become 59944. Then the server, when the server check whether I'm the legit guy, he's actually checking 59944, not the original 1234. Okay, now in a while I will have a demo on TryHackMe to teach you how you actually do this thing. Okay, come back to this. This is the second usage, to verify a file. So everything when you download something like what you see here, in the end here, you can actually see there is a SHA sum. So what is all these things? Now this is exactly like what I just showed you earlier, the hash value like this, where you can use to compare whether you get the right file or not. Now remember, when you are sending file across over the internet, there are actually many people in between, right? It could be many hackers, you're going through many routers, many different networks for different ISP. So anyone in the middle could have the chance to change what you are sending and receiving. So for example here, if I send ABC to you, okay, in the middle, someone changed that to XYZ, then send it back. So what you receive is not ABC, it's actually XYZ, which is something that has been modified. So to make sure what I send is what you receive, you can compare whether the hash value of the 2 files are the same. Okay, now the way we can actually do this, Now I need you to go to your try hack me now. Okay, before try hack me, I will show you one example how we can use hash value to check whether the file you get is correct or not. Now, this example here, why the developer, when you download any file, I'm very sure if you pay attention, you will see they always include a sum here, which actually means nothing to us. If you are not into security, I don't really care. I just want to get an installer. I install the thing and then I go on with it. I use the program as why I want to get it in the first place. Now, the sum is only for people who is worried that the installer that you get is not the original one. So after you download, maybe someone already changed the data inside. So if you compare the installer, the one that you get, the sum with the sum that the developer gives to you, the two value is different, then you know something is wrong already. Okay, so to give you a very simple example, now I will show you how I compare a few text files on Kali Linux using hash value. Okay, now this example here, you do not have to do anything. Okay, you don't have to do anything. It's just for me to demo how hashing works, so that you can actually get like how they really use it in the real world. Okay, so I am using Kali terminal here. Again, you don't have to do anything, so just watch and see what I'm doing here. Okay, now let's say I want to create 3 text files. Okay, so the goal is I create 3 text files and 2 of them are the same but one is different. So I create 3 text files. Okay, the first file I name it milo.txt. Okay, because Milo is the national drink of Utah, so I use Milo as the file name here. Okay, milo.txt, file number 1. Then I have the second text file, milo2.txt, and I create the third file, milo3.txt. Okay, yeah, you are too young to enjoy the Milo story. Anyway, now these 3 files, if let's say in the file number 1, inside the text file, I write something like Utah my choice. Okay, this is just a simple string. Utah my choice. Now if I do the same, I open the second text file, I write the same string, exactly the same character, then we can see that these 2 files is actually the same file because the content is the same. Although the name is different, but the content are the same. Now if I go and write something in the third file and I write something else, I write Sunway more pretty girl. Okay, so Utah is not your choice, maybe because you want to have more pretty girl, but Utah also got a lot of pretty girl lah. You just need to know where to find. Okay, so now this example here, we know that these 2 text files, the first 2 are the same files. Okay, the third file are different. So based on the hashing theory, if I take this file and I put it into a hash functions right now, it is supposed to give me the same hash value when I take this second file and I put it into the same hash functions. Because hash, the same input, you will get the same hash output. Alright, so that is the concept here. Now if I take this Milo tree and I put it into a hash function, it is supposed to give me a different hash value. So in the end of this experiment, we will see that, okay, I think I name this Milo1 is easier for us to see later. Now the hash for milo1.txt should be the same as the hash value for milo2.txt. So you should get something like this. Alright, but they cannot be the same as milo3.txt. Okay, now for example, now I'm going to create a text file here. You don't have to really know how I do it. I'm just going to create 3 text files. So I open a text editor using Pico. This is for those who really want to learn how to do. Later on, you can come back to the video and then you slow this down. But again, this is just a demo. You do not have to know how this is done. Alright. Okay, so I write Utah my choice in the text file. I save it. And then I create the second text file now. And I'm going to write the same exactly the same thing, user my choice. I save the file, and now I create the third text file, milo3.txt. Okay, now I want to write something else like Sunway has more pretty girls. Okay, now just to show you the content of this text file that I've just created, on Linux we can use the cat command. Okay, so this cat command is very common. It's just like the printf that you have in your C++ or the system.out that you have on your Java. So cat is to print the content of the file. So if I can just type cat and milo1.txt. Now if I do this, it is going to show me the content that I have in the text file, which is going to be user my choice. Okay, I can also try to show what is the content of the second file, which is again user my choice, because you have just seen that I just put this in, right? Okay, now then I try to see what is the content or the text in Milo3, and you see Sunway has more criticals. So these are the three text that I've just created. This is how I create text file using a command, but of course you can do the same using mouse and keyboard as well. Just this looks a bit more, faster if you are into kind of this program command stuff, but anyway, it's the same. So yeah, now what we want to do is I'm going to take these three files, I put them into a hash functions. So as you remember in the earlier class, I said there are many kind of hash functions. Popular one includes MD5, MD4, SHA1, SHA2, SHA256, Whirlpool, and so on. So there are many. Now for this example, I'm going to use MD5. MD5 is also a very popular hash functions that we use this day, and I want to see what are the hash value for this file. Okay, so the command that we use is MD5 sum followed by the file that you want to create a checksum for. So you see, I can simply type something like this. So what I did is I use MD5 sum. This is the command that we use to calculate or to compute the hash value of a certain file. So in this case, the file name here, the parameter here would be file name. So I would like to know what is the hash value for the first milo1.text. Okay, so here I printed this is the sum. Now I will now repeat the same thing using MD5 sum, but now I want to hash milo2.txt, and based on the theory that we learned, they should get the same value because they have the same content. And in fact, you see here, they are exactly the same. 9DA something and then they end with DDD. So these two files is the same. We knew it from our raw eye. When we see it, we know they are the same. But this is easy because this is just a simple text file with just one line of string. What if you have a very big file or a big video or an image file that looks similar but might not be actually similar, might not be the same file? So this is going to be really useful because now you can actually compare them. If two files have the same hash value, of course provided you're using the same hash functions, then we can be very sure that these files are the same, they have not been modified in any way. Okay, now of course if I do the same one for milo3.txt, you'll now get a different hash value, as we already knew before this, because Milo3 has a different content. So technically it is a different file from Milo1 and Milo2. So this example that I just shown you here is one way that people use hash functions to make sure what I send is what you receive. And sometimes if you are not sure, just use the hash functions to print out the hash value and then you compare them. Alright, so that is the first use. Now the second, is this clear? This is actually quite simple, right? Now of course the example here is just to show you a text file. Like I say, you can also do this for image file, you can also do this for any kind of file format. Okay, can I compare two files at the same time? Yes, actually you can. You can actually print out two of these. So for example, I want to show the MD5 value for the first Milo1.text and then also at the same time show the second one. I can just do something like this, Milo2.text, and you will see there are two hash values. So what I just did here is I use an operator. This is a Linux operator, semicolon. So what semicolon does is I will do command 1. Okay, let's say I have two commands. So do command 1. After I finish command 1, I do command 2. Okay, so if you want to run a few commands at the same time in one line, you can use this operator semicolon. Okay, now if you're really interested in Linux and you want to learn all this stuff, again, like I say, we cannot cover this one in cybersecurity class because this is not an OS class. Okay, I'm not sure whether this will be covered on some other classes, but it's definitely, we won't spend time to teach you how to do the basic Linux command. So if you really want to know, there are a lot of resources out there that you can go and learn about them. But if you do not want, that's fine, because this is only the thing that you really need to know for this subject. Okay, now of course you can also do some trimming. For example, if you do not want to see this kind of output, you can also do something like awk. So I'm not sure whether if I remember the command. Let me try. Some Milo 1 T. Okay, I don't remember. It's somewhere there. Later I show you in the next example. Later I give you more error, then you're more confused. Better don't try this. Okay. Now, if this is okay, it's time for you to do something. So now I want you to go to try hack me. Okay. I hope you already get this link by now, because you're already in the 3rd class, and if you really want to be serious in cybersecurity, you need to make sure that you can do all the challenge that is here on Try Hack Me. Okay. Now, so I'm going to show you task 5. Now this is the command I want to show you. But we have one question, so let me answer first. What if we modify the content in Milo 2 and then the hash function will change as well? Okay, yeah, this is a very good question. So your friend purpose is asking if the file changes, will the hash value change? Of course, in fact, it should change. Okay, now we don't have to guess, we can just try this. So right now I'm going to modify the second Milo2.text, and I will maybe add something else. Just try to change this A, okay, into add. Now you see they look awfully the same, right? If you look at using your eye, you might not tell the difference straight away, but actually it's already different because I changed the A to the add symbol. Now I can save this file, and just to show you the changes has been made, you see now this is the text that we currently have in Milo 2, and now we will now try to calculate their MD5 sum, and you can see now they have different hash values. So this is how I know somebody tried to change something within the file. Alright, so this is the first usage. The second use of hash is almost the same, but now we don't hash the whole file, we hash a string, specifically the password. So most of the time we already know password is just a combination of strings and special characters and numbers with a variable length, right? So a hash can take an input of such thing, your password, and then change it into a hash value. So if you look at the slide here, we will never ever send your password across the internet in plain text. It's always sent in hash. Alright, so in this task 5, I want you to learn how to calculate a hash value for a password. Alright, so the first example that we have here is we have a password iPhone 13. Okay, remember password is actually case sensitive one, so it's very important that you type exactly as the original password. So now we have 3 examples here. I will show you how we can use different kind of hash functions to compute the hash value for a text or maybe a string. Now first example is iPhone 13. Okay, how we can calculate the hash functions, the hash value for this password is by using this command here. So it's already given to you. For example, if your password is 12345, then you will use the command echo-n, and then you type in the password here. Now you use this operator. This operator is a pipe operator, which means that after you finish executing command number 1, you want to take the output of command number 1, pass it into the second command. Then you run the command number 2, and then you pass it to command number 3. Okay, so let me explain this a little bit in case you are confused. Now in Linux, you know Linux are designed for the skilled people, right? Not people like me. So they have a very convenient way to do things, you can say. Now, if you are really good in this kind of command, you can actually write one line of command to do so many things. So right now, let's say I have a password, and the password is 123456. I want to use MD5 hash function to hash this password. So this is what we're trying to do here. And the command is using echo. Now echo is again like almost like printf, because whatever you type in echo will just print up. So let me show you one example as well here. Okay, you see what echo does. If I write echo, this is the command echo, and I write Monday blue. Alright, it will just print out this word. So you see, it will just print out Monday blue. Now if you want to print out a few words that has space in between, then you have to put them in double colon. So Monday blue again. Then it will just print out whatever I just typed. So echo is kind of like, as you can guess from the name, echo whatever you type. So it's kind of like printf again. Alright, so yeah, if I write echo 1 2 3 4 5, it is going to print out 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so this is echo. Now on Linux, we can use this operator. So this is this operator. Okay, this is called a pipe. We call this a pipe. A pipe is an operator that will take the output of one command. So for example, this command echo 1 2 3 4 5 means I will print out 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, I take the output, which is something like this. This is the output. I pass that output into the next command. So the next command is md5 sum. So we already know from the earlier example, md5 sum is the command that I use to compute the hash value for any files. Alright. Now after that, you get a hash value here. Later I'll show you. Then you further pass the input into this one. So this is actually optional. You don't really have to do this. Now if you do, what it actually means is I want to print out only the first few of the output. Okay, I will show you in a very short while. So now let's try for our example first. So our password now is iPhone 13. Remember, it is case sensitive, so you have to be very careful here. Based according to try hack me questions, iPhone 13. Okay, now we want to hash this using MD5 algorithm. Okay, like I said, there are many. So in the first example, I will be using MD5. Alright, so let's see how I come up with the command. So I will use echo. Now I will use the option -n because I don't want it to go to the next line. So you don't have to worry too much. Just use -n. I don't want to explain too much. Otherwise, it will go too far from the lecture. The -n, and then you follow by the password iPhone 13, which is the password that I want to hash it right now. And then I pass to md5 sum. Okay. Now the rest of the command you can just copy exactly because it is the same, it won't change. So this is the command that we will use to hash this password iPhone 13. Alright, so you see if I do an echo -n iPhone 13, what it actually does is it print out the password iPhone 13 without a new line, going to the next line. The reason is because if you go to the next line, then it means something else. It means iPhone 13 and one line. So it's not like that. Our case is iPhone 13 only, which is why I use the -n options. Alright. Then I pass this thing into MD5. Alright, so you can see from here now. I echo -n iPhone 13. I use this operator to pass the input in. I want to do MD5 sum. Then that's it. This is the hash value for this password. So now if a user have a password iPhone 13, what is sent to the server? This thing. This whole thing starting from BF8428 until 22E8. This whole line of value will be sent to the server, not iPhone 13. This one will not be sent to the server. We will not send password in plain text. Alright. Now if you want to continue with the command, is simply remove this thing because you just want to print the hash value without this one. Then you can also use the awk command here. I think it's called print -1. Let me check the command. But that is this is actually optional. Yeah, so you can actually put this thing to remove the dash. So it means it print the first few only. of the output. Okay, but I don't recommend this, otherwise it get too confusing for you. So the first one is already good enough. Okay, now the point here is you should know how to get the hash value for a password if you are given a password. Alright, now we can try the second example now. Of course, I already give you the hint here. So if you just want some free marks, you can just go to the hint and copy this thing, then you'll get all the correct points for these questions. The reason I'm doing this is because it's actually quite difficult for us to copy from Kali back to TryHackMe unless you open TryHackMe website inside Kali Linux. Otherwise, it's hard for us to copy this value back to your host OS. Alright. Okay, now we try second example. YTF, why come to my stream? Think we are attracting China people now. Okay, so yeah, second example, we want to hash the same password. So it's still iPhone 13, exactly the same password as you can see here. Alright, but now we use a different algorithm, and this is an SHA algorithm now. Okay, so SHA is a bit different from MD5. In fact, it might be, I think MD5 is safer. You can actually guess, if the hash value is longer, then it will be safer. It will take you longer time to crack the hash functions. Alright, okay, now example number 2. So now our password is iPhone 13, it's the same. We want to hash using, this time not MD5, this time use SHA1. Okay, now same thing. I will write the command echo -n followed by my password iPhone 13. I use a pipe operator to pass the thing that this echo printed to the next command, and now I want to use SHA sum. Alright, not MD5 sum. So this is called SHA sum. Because now this is a different algorithm, different kind of hash functions right now. Okay, now I can now come here and type this in iPhone 13 SHA sum, and yeah, you should get something that starts with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and then end with E4, 6F. I hope this is the correct one. Yeah, correct. So this is exactly, you see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 0, 2, 4, 5, 7, very long, cannot finish reading this. And then end with 4, 6F. So you see on Kali Linux, it's also the same. Oops. So you see, we get the same hash value here. So this is how we get the hash for every password. Now you might not feel this is cool yet because we are doing what people is supposed to do. This is what everybody is doing. It's not hard for us to get hash of a password. What is cool is later you will see, given this value here, we can actually find back what is the password. That will be the cool part. Alright, but before we do the cool part, we have one last questions here that I want to show you. So now this is, we are still trying to hash. We're still trying to hash the password. So now we have a new password, and this time it is called iPhone 13 Pro Max. So this is our new password. Alright, and we want to hash using MD5. Okay, I will show this example. Once I finish that, I will start to take some questions from the YouTube chat. Alright, okay, so here, this is iPhone 13 Pro Max. Our password now is iPhone 13 Pro Max. Make sure you follow all the case. If there are caps, you make sure you have caps here. And we want to hash using MD5. So the same algorithm. Now the command is echo -n, and then we type in the password that we want to hash. So for this case is iPhone 13 Pro Max. Pipe this output into MD5 sum. The command to compute using MD5 hash is using MD5 sum. Alright, now we can now use our Kali to compute for this. So wait, let me zoom in a bit. Alright, so echo -n iPhone 13 Pro Max MD5 sum. Okay, if you type this command correctly, assuming that you type this correctly, you will get this value here. And this one will be the hash value for the password iPhone 13 Pro Max. So it should be the same. Yeah, correct. This is exactly what we get from our Kali. So I'll just paste this in to get all the marks. Now another thing you might also notice if you are observant is, in fact, SHA is longer. You see this one, the output is longer than MD5. So what this means to us is, this is stronger. If I want to crack the password, if the password is hashed using SHA, it will take longer time than to crack a password that is hashed using MD5, because as you can see, if this is longer, it is more secure. Now I can even show you something that is even more secure, like if I have the same password, alright, and then I use SHA-256 sum. Now this is even a better algorithm, and you can see now this is way longer, even longer, which also means that it will take you even longer to crack a password digest that is hashed using a SHA-256. Of course, if you don't always want to do that, otherwise your computer will be very tired, because now I have to compute for so many things. Okay, so that is how we use Kali or use hash functions to hash the password, which is what happening in the real world right now. Okay, so question type. Let me answer some questions from the chat. So happy that TF boy is here. Later he can sing for us live. Okay, why got bot? You know why got bot? Because today I accidentally put this video as public. Okay, SSH is longer, has longer value. That's correct. Now, Abu Bakar asking, then if I unhash the hash value, I get the password. Yes, Abu, you are right. Abu, are you a friend of Ali? That is correct, which is what I will show you in a very short while. We can actually get back the password. Okay, based on what you learned today, you can do many things, good things and bad things. But that is totally up to you what you want to do with the skill that you pick up. Okay, can explain what is the use of AWK. Okay, now since Windy want to know, just now we have, in the end I have AWK, and then I have something like this. Open quote, print the first field, $1. Now this is actually a very advanced command. So what this really does is, it wants you to only print the first field. Now if you look at this, let me show you a clear example. Okay, if I have these three text files that I created earlier, remember? Now if I do an MD5 sum on the first text file, I will get the hash value here, which is exactly what we want. And this will also tell me what is the file name for this hash value. It belongs to Milo1.txt. Now sometimes I don't want this to appear. Maybe I only want this thing. So this, you see, this hash value is the first field of the output. This is the second field. So in Linux, we can use the $1 to represent field number 1, $2 to represent field number 2. So if I write this and then I continue with AWK, and then I write print the first field only, then you will see now I will not print the second field, because I only say print the first field, which is the hash value. Now some of the time this might be important if you're writing a program that you want to pump up a batch of hash functions, then you, of course, you don't want the file name to become together, so you will actually only want to print the first field. Okay, you can also just print the second field to show Milo text, but this doesn't really make any sense. So yeah, AWK is just for us to choose which field in the output that you want to print on the screen. Okay. This TF boy is making everyone so happy. I hope he come to our stream every class. Okay. I also don't know this is real people or not. I think he is one of your classmates, otherwise he will not reply to you. A bot won't reply to you, like so realistically. Okay, now Yu Bing have fun question. What if we hash the hash value? Now, Yu Bing, this is very smart. Actually, you can. So this is hash value. Hash value is just a string. If you hash the hash value, you will get another hash. Then you have a hash within a hash, which will actually confuse even more people. But actually, it is not necessary, because one level of hash is already very, very strong. Okay, now actually in the next lecture you will learn how to hide virus. That is one of the methods that I will show you in the next lecture. Okay, so what if I have 3 fields and I only want to print the second and the third field only? Then you can put $1 and $2. Okay, Yongming, it's good that you want to learn more, but I cannot actually show you all the Linux command here. Otherwise, this one become an operating system class. So you just learn the command that you need to do certain tasks. That is more than enough. Okay, but of course, what I show you here, you must really know how to use the command. Okay, now correct. Now, if you're okay, we're going to move on to the next one. Things will get more and more interesting because now we will start to learn how to crack password. Okay, now before that, we need to learn one more skill, and that is to identify hash functions. Okay, now you see, you can also see this from the notes. Okay, this slide here, this shows us all the kind of hash functions that we have right now that you can use out there. Okay, so many. If I want to scroll also, you see, it's going to take me a few seconds to finish scrolling this list. In fact, it is not finished yet. There are many different hash functions. Now, why we need so many? This is a hard question because like every hash functions, mathematically, their algorithm would be different. So if you want to crack a certain hash, you will need different technique. Now, of course, some hash is more computational intensive, meaning that if you use them, it will take longer for you to generate the hash value, but then it will be more secure. Now, of course, some hash will be the other way around. It's very fast, like MD5 sum is so quick. Like just now you see, in few seconds I get my hash value, but it's actually easy for me to crack. Now, of course you have to find the balance between security and compute power. Okay, you cannot always have the most secure password, but then it will take you forever to compute the hash. Then it wouldn't actually make sense. All right. So now what you can take away from this slide is there are so many different hash that is used for different reasons, and they are slightly different from one another. There are variants of MD5 as well. So in fact, you also see they have codes. So we have different code that represent different hash functions. Now, it is not actually possible for me to know every kind of hash functions that I have out there. Okay, but actually I have to. The problem is if you really want to crack a password, you cannot just ask your Kali to crack and try to guess all kind of possibility. Like it could be an MD5 hash, it could be a SHA hash, or it could be a Whirlpool hash. It is just not possible. Otherwise, like the example that you see earlier, it will take you centuries or even maybe more than 10 centuries to crack one password. So the first thing you want before you can crack any hash value to get the password is you need to know what are the hash function that is being used. What is the kind of hash digest that you have right now? All right. So, of course, there is a very quick way, which is what you will learn in the Try Hack Me challenge. The next one, identifying hash. So this is in task 6. All right. Now, for those who have the Kali Linux box with you, the one that I customized, which is the one that I'm using on this stream right now, this is going to be very simple for you to learn. Okay, you can follow me if you want to, or if you like to just listen and cheer and try this out after the stream, it's totally cool as well. So now I'm going to show you task 6 here. Sorry, task 6 is located in desktop. Okay, so I'm trying to use cd. cd is a command we call change directory for me to navigate from one directory to another. Okay, now if I'm going too fast, please let me know. Okay, cd is the command change directory, similar to how I change directory here. Now you see, before we learn Kali Linux, you see there is a chapter 2 here, correct? If I want to go to task 6, I'll just use my mouse, I double click, and hello, you're supposed to show me. Okay, yeah, so File Explorer, this is what we used to, right? If you want to go into task 6, I'll just double click on task 6, and yeah, this is what we used to. Inside, now I see there is 5 text file and the Python code. So this is using mouse, but on Linux, normally we will not do that because we want to use the terminal. So the way we do it is by using the command change directory. Okay, now of course you want to write something like change directory and then to the destination where you're trying to go to. Okay, now if I do a cd and then I use this symbol, I do not know what this symbol is called. This will bring me back to my home directory. Okay, I can do a pwd to show that I'm actually in my home directory now. Again, I cannot talk too much about all these commands, so you just use whatever that I show you here. In fact, actually, if I remember, I have one video on my channel as well that teach you how to use all these commands. I'll link that video to you on Rebel or maybe after the class. Okay, now, so the point here is I just want you to be able to go to the right directory. Okay, so here, if I do an ls will means list. Okay, list what I have here. So you can actually see this is the command version. Okay, wait, let me resize this. Okay, when I write an ls command, why it becomes so small? Okay, this ls command, I have desktop, document, download, music, pictures. All these are folders. Now in Linux, we don't call this folder, we call this directory. Alright, so I can also use a UI. If you're not familiar with command, you can also use UI, no problem, you see. In fact, this is the same thing here. Okay, hold on, let me resize so that you can compare side by side. Okay, now, see, you have the same thing. I have desktop. Okay, see, I have documents, I have downloads, I have music. So you can be an UI guy if you like mouse, or you can be the keyboard guy if you are into command and stuff. Okay, now so let's say I am here. I want to go into the desktop. Normally on the UI I will double click. Okay, then I go to chapter 2. So on the command I will type cd and then I write the full name here, desktop. Then now I'm in desktop. Okay, I can again use the ls command to show me what are the files that I have, and you see I can see now chapter 2. This is exactly the same thing. So for the UI guy, you can just double click here. See, I double click. This Linux is trying to play games with me. Okay, then I have task 6, task 7, task 8. Same thing. I can cd chapter 2. Then I do ls. I can see task 10, task 6. So it's actually exactly the same, whether you want to use command or use UI only. Okay, now for this challenge now, I need you to go to task 6, of course using command because you cannot do this using a mouse and keyboard only. So I will now go to task 6. This is how I do it. cd to task 6 and I do ls. You will see there are a few files here, which is exactly the same. If you just double click on task 6, you will also see that. Okay, but I need you to come to this task 6 using the command. Alright, now for those who understand the concept but you just do not know how to get here, let me make this easy for you. Doesn't matter where you are right now, just type cd followed by this symbol here, and then you type cd desktop. I hope this works lah. I don't know whether it works. Chapter 2 task 6. Oh, it doesn't work. Where am I? Wait, let me find a way for you. Okay, you can just do this. Alright, so if you're in your home directory where you see all the desktop and downloads, you can just type this line of command here and then it will bring you to task 6. Yes, correct. So like I say, you should download the one that I give to you. If you use your own color, it's fine because all the challenge is still on Try Hack Me. You can actually go to Try Hack Me and then you download all the things. You see the task file here, so you can actually do this in your own Kali, but I do it for you in this way so that it's become more convenient. Alright, just like Windows PC. If you buy Windows PC, you have to buy different part and build your own PC. If you buy a MacBook, just open and use it straight away. Alright, so assuming that you are already here, I will now show you how we can find out what kind of hash function is used to hash all these different files. Okay, now if you really cannot do this, remember you can always ask me on Microsoft Teams only for this chapter. Installation error, don't ask me, ask the tech support guy. Okay, so you have a few files here. What we really want to do in this challenge is we want to find out what is the hash functions used to hash hash1.txt, hash2.txt, hash3, hash4. So we'll do until the fourth file only. Okay, we want to know whether it's MD5 or SHA or any other algorithm. Okay, now let's go to our command line now. FA, there are some commands that you need to know. You also need to know command for your lab test, also need to know for your midterm, also need to know for assignment. So in fact, I just say every kind of assessment. Yeah, you need to know command. Okay, cybersecurity is not a theory subject. It is a very hands-on subject. So you really need to know how to do certain things. That's what I'm showing you here. Okay, so yeah, as we start with hash 1. All right, now I'll show you how I know what is this hash type. Okay, you don't want to use full screen. Use this window. Okay, to do this, we will use the program called hash-id.py. So this is a Python file. If you check on try-hack-me, you run this using this line of code, Python 3 hash-id.py. So this is the file name. We are just running the program. So this one will allow us to know what kind of hash that we are dealing with. Okay, this is how we use it. First, I will type Python 3 and then hash-id.py. So this one is to run the program. So now you cannot just double click and run anymore. You have to write Python 3 and the program name, which is hash-id.py. You press enter, you're going to see a very nice menu here, the welcome screen. And they built this using, I think, the ASCII code generator. Let me try again. Yeah, you see, looks so pretty. Okay, now how to use this is you need to paste the hash value here. Then he will tell you what is the hash functions. For example, now you can do it using UI or another command. So if I want to use it, do it using UI, I can just go to the chapter 2. Go to task 6 and then I double click here to open this text file. Okay, now in a while, once we open, you will get the hash value here. So I will just copy the whole hash value now. Alright, until the end, I copy this hash value. Okay, now I can close this. And then I come back to the program that we just started. I paste it here. Paste clipboard. Then I press enter. Okay, then he will now show me all the results. So you see, this is the result. So from the output, it is guessing that most likely this is an MD5. Or it could also be this one, MD4. So it is not really sure. It cannot tell you 100%. So it can only guess the most likely hash functions for this value. And of course, we have to try one by one, starting with the most possible choice until the least one. So it cannot be any of these, but it's either MD5 or MD4. Alright, so based on these answers here, you can go back to try-hack-me and you type in MD5. Submit. If you get correct answer, means yes, this is in fact a hash value from MD5. Okay, now I will now do the second example again using the same method for the people who want to use mouse and keyboard so that you can pick this up. And then I will show you how to use command. Okay, now we have done for the first file already, so we can in fact write this down. This is MD5. Okay, next I would do for hash number 2. So same thing, I now do for hash number 2. Alright, I will open my file explorer. It takes time to load because running out of memory. Then go to chapter 2, task 6. I open hash 2 to get the hash value. I will now copy the whole hash value here. Copy it. Then you can close this, like you don't need this anymore. Close this. and then you come here, you open the Python, so Python 3 hash-id.py, okay, to run the program. Then you just paste clipboard, or you can also press Ctrl+Shift+V on your keyboard, then press enter. We see the result. Okay, so the result says that most likely this is SHA1, so it's not MD5 this time. So from here I can guess this could be SHA1, and with this answer now you can go back to try hack me, and then you type in SHA1, so that would be the correct answer. Okay. Now if you use my Kali, you will definitely have the hash file. The command is related to security. Okay, Orion is asking, in the exam will it be command for Linux? No, this is not OS class, this is cyber security class. The command will only be related to things that I show you here. Things to hack password, to crack password, or to hack SSH server. Okay, I'm not going to ask you anything else about the basic Linux command. Alright. Okay, so we are done for 1 and 2. In fact, you can do this on your own already, but I'll just show you one more example, alright? Maybe I just show you all the example. Okay, now I'm still using the program. Now, in fact, if I don't want to keep opening the File Explorer, I can just do this using a new window. Okay, so what I do is, I will of course still need to get the hash value, correct or not? But I don't want to open a notepad or anything because loading is so slow. I use command save some memory. So now I can go to the same directory, chapter 2. We are in task 6. Okay, I just cat, because remember we learned about cat. Cat means it will print out the content of the file. So I just do a cat hash3.txt. It will print out the whole hash value here. So now I can just copy, and then now I paste it here. Paste clipboard, press enter. This is like very fast now, okay? And you see that it is most likely, wait, where is the result? Have I pasted this thing? It's supposed to be SHA256. Oh, what did I do? Wait, let me copy this thing. Yeah, it didn't copy. Why it is like that? Okay, let me try again. No, it doesn't copy. Wow, why is this guy doing this to me? Wait, let me do again. For some reason, it don't want to copy. Copy selections. Okay. Yeah, now this time it works. So I paste a new hash value. This is from the third file, hash3.txt, and you can see the possible hash is an SHA, but it's a stronger kind of SHA. So this is SHA256. So the key will be actually longer later, the hash output. Alright. Now you can go back to try hack me, and then you just type in SHA256. You'll get points for the correct answer. So we have the last one already. Okay, so hash4, what do you think is the function that will be used to get this output? Alright, so now we go back to our Kali, and I will do the same way for hash3, okay? So now I go to the next terminal here, I hash4.txt to get the content, or to print out the content of hash4, and this is the hash value. So this is a very, very long one, as you can see, which means this algorithm, whatever it is later, is very, very secure. So in fact, if you ask me, I won't even want to try to crack this password because it's going to take forever. The hash value is too long. Okay, it's very, very secure. Now, I'm interested to know what it is, so I paste it here. And yeah, this is the hash value for hash4.txt, and it is possibly to be 512 or Whirlpool. So here we have two options. From the result, it could be SHA 512 or it could be Whirlpool. Now, of course, naturally, if you go to track me, I'm going to type this answer first, okay? Then you will notice it's not correct. And then I try Whirlpool, and then you notice Whirlpool is correct. So Actually, the right answer for hash4 is the hash function is virput. This is another function that is very secure, but it's not very popular because it is too slow for us to calculate this one. Okay, now what I want to show you for the last example is this program here, it cannot be 100% sure. It is only guessing. So in fact, you will have to try one by one to see which one is the correct one on try-hack-me. Now in final exam, if you write either of these, you will get correct lah, because you cannot try on final exam. Okay, so if you understand what we have just done here, we are clear with task 6. So until here, until this stage, you should be able to tell me what is the hash functions for a hash file that I give you using this program hash-id.py. Okay, so now I'll take some questions that you might have for task 6 before we go further. Okay, how to do with command without using UI? I already show you. Okay, why we use different hash.txt to guess the possible hash? Alright, John is asking why we use different txt. Okay. Right now, in this task 6, you have a few hash file. Okay, all these hash file, we get it because we hash using different hash functions. So it could be from MD5, it could be from SHA or SHA256 or virput. So what we want in task 6 is we want to know what is the hash functions that is used to create this file. Okay, that is why we use this program. So you have different text hash file because different hash file is hashed by different hash functions. Alright, are you clear, John? John is supposed to be the one that we want to learn later. Okay, we will use John to crack password. Okay, now very good questions from Poon. Can we identify hash file with sort? Okay, so the other day, for those people who get it, hash, let's say I have something called ABC. So this is my original text ABC. Okay, I put this into a hash functions, and then I get XYZ. Okay, and then I have another example, let's say B88. Alright, I put it to the same hash function, say for example MD5. Okay, the same hash functions. I get the same output. Now in this case, we say this is a hash collision because two different input accidentally give us the same output. Then I also say that to solve this, we can add a sort. Okay, what we do is we take the password plus a sort value before we put to hash functions. Alright, now it will look something like this. For example, ABC. Okay, so you see ABC plus sort can be any random number. So let's say plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I put it to MD5 now. I am going to get, I'm very sure this time I'll get a different value. Okay, now BA8, I can add a random hash. Put it to the same hash functions now. I am very sure now I will get different hash. So this is what we call sort. Sort is sometimes added to our password before we hash it, so that it becomes less chance for us to have this thing, hash collision. We don't want hash collision. This one definitely cannot happen. Okay, so we want to use a sort. That is why we have sort. So now your friend is asking, can you find out what is the hash functions that produce this hash value, like the MD5 here, if the password has already been added with sort? Now, the answer is yes, we can, because hash-id.python, this file, managed to calculate for sort. The only problem is it will take very long. For example, now, immediately in not even 1 second, you know the hash functions. If the sort has been added to the hash value, it will take you hours to even get to know what is the hash functions that is used. Alright, but the answer is actually yes. Okay, so yeah, if you are clear with this, I think we should take a break now because it's getting too many things. So we take about 5-minute break. Okay, 5 minutes because so many things to cover today. Then when we come back, I explain to you what is a word list. After we understand word list, we can start to crack password already. Okay, so I see you back in 5 minute time.
I will find the time, we will find the timing. Cause you are on my mind, I hope that you don't mind it. You know that I want you, you know that I want you next to me. But if you need some space, I will step away. And I know it might sound stupid, but for me, yeah, I just gotta keep believing, and I've heard some say you will love me one day. And I will wait to get your loving one day. Just say you will love me one day, and I will wait to get your loving one day. Some say you will love me one day, and I will wait to get your loving one day. Just say you will love me one day, and I will wait to get your loving one day. I promise that I try, that I will try to meet someone. And there's so many guys who told me I deserve someone. I wanna call you up, but maybe it will only make it worse. I guess that I just don't know what to do with myself. Cause I know it might sound stupid, but for me, yeah, I just gotta keep believing, and I've heard some say you will love me one day, and I will wait to get your loving one day. Just say you will love me one day, and I will wait to get your loving one day. Some say you will love me one day, and I will wait to get your loving one day. Just say you will love me one day, and I will wait to get your loving one day. Ooh. girl trying to do.
Not your Barbie girl, I'm living in my own world. I am plastic, call me classic. You can't touch me there, you can't touch my body unless I say so. Ain't your Barbie, no. Pull up to that dream house, God gate hills now. How much do you like this? Welcome to my bedroom, hallway, go down. Stairs got permission. I can take myself on a dinner date, buy myself diamonds and the champagne, order 5 courses and chocolate cake. Acting like I can when I want a man, acting like I care but I don't. I do my own thing, yeah, watch me dance. Not your Barbie girl, I'm living in my own world. I am plastic, call me classic. You can't touch me there, you can't touch my body unless I say so. Ain't your Barbie, no. I'm my own boss, I'm reminding you often. Something that you just can't get. Words don't tempt me, trying to break me. In this year's I ain't trying to trip. No, I can take myself on a dinner date, buy myself diamonds and the champagne, order 5 courses and chocolate cake. Acting like I can when I want a man, acting like I care but I don't. I do my own thing, yeah, watch me dance. Not your Barbie girl, I'm living in my own world. I am plastic, call me classic. You can't touch me there, you can't touch my body unless I say so. Ain't your Barbie, no. Did you forget I'm real? Oh, I'm breathing, touch me, feel. Oh, say I'm your toy to play with, wanna put me in a box. You ain't gon' talk to me like that, you better stop. Not your Barbie girl, I'm living in my own world. I am plastic, call me classic. You can't touch me there, you can't touch my body unless I say so. Ain't your Barbie, no. Ain't your Barbie, no. Ain't your Barbie, no.
Okay guys, we are back. So we will now continue with the next part of the lecture where we will now learn what is word list, what is a word list, and then after that we can now start to crack password using John the Ripper. So we have 2 more things to cover today. After that, the last part will be on Hydra. So that is actually even cooler. If you think John is cool, Hydra is double cool. Okay. Now so let's go back to your slide first. Okay, now we are talking about hacking. Okay, I do not know lah. Some people they just go to my for example, some people they know the Wi-Fi password is printed on the router, and then they check the router, they see the password written there, they try to log in using the password, it works, and they say they're hacker. So hacking can mean many things for different people. Now, if you ask me, I really think this can be considered a real hacking, okay? Because we are trying to recover password from a password hash. So to do so, first we will have to understand there are 2 ways that we can normally do to hack for password. Maybe not just password, for most of the things. So these are actually a very popular technique. So now what you see here on the screen is called a brute force. brute force means that we try all possibility, all kind of password. For example, I try A, B, C, D, E, F. So I tried all kind of alphabets, and then I tried all letters like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I also have to try with all symbols like exclamation mark, sharp, all these things. So you see, there are actually many possible combination. Think about this. If we just even want to brute force a very simple password and say the password is, we know, 3 character in length. Okay, so it's a very short password. For example, ABC or 1, 2, 3. Now, if the password only contains alphabets, I will have to try AAA, AAB, don't care about the autocorrect. It always autocorrect me. Wait. Okay, we are back. So AAB, AAC, and so on. So you see there's AAC and so on. How to turn off autocorrect? So many things. Now, even for password that only contains number 111, 112, 113, 114. So we are trying all possible combinations. So this one, if you try naturally, it will end with 3Z, right? Now, and then this one, if you try, maybe you will end with 999. If you start with 1 or if you start with 0, then there is even more things that you have to try. So this is called a brute force attack. Means that you want to have a list of password, we call this possible password, and inside you have all the password combinations, like what I'm showing you here. So this is a very simple case, 3 characters. Think about this. If the password is 6 characters, then if the password only contains alphabets, I have to try for A, and then I have to try for A, B, and then it's going to take even longer. So the list will be even bigger. Alright. Now, that is a brute force attack, but actually most of the time it works, just that it takes very long. So, security is actually kind of pay to win, If your PC is very fast, then you can try this, no problem, because my PC is so fast, in 1 second, it is able to try maybe 1 million password. Then it is not a problem. Now, if you are using a PC that is still running on 4 GB of RAM, running on Intel i3, not even i5, then you might have a bit of problem. Okay, so it will take very long, which is why we have to be smarter. We cannot just try for every single possible combination. So to do so, we have an attack called a dictionary attack. So dictionary attack is actually different because now you have to understand the context of the attack. For example, you need to know the target that you're attacking. You need to know a bit of him, like maybe he liked to eat banana, maybe he liked Taylor Swift. Then his password might contain the word banana or Taylor Swift. So this is what we call dictionary attack. Now, one example that you can see also on the screen is sometimes people, they combine, there are certain strings that always come together like AWSD, QWERT, so that would be common password. Like sometimes people replace A symbol with A characters, 1 with the exclamation mark or L, or 5 with S. Correct? I think you do this, right? If you play a game and then you create your online game profile, normally the names in your IGN name normally sounds so cool with so many special character and symbol behind and in front. So yeah, this is what we have to learn in dictionary attack, meaning that we don't want to really try A until Z. It's just too long. So we need to understand some context. Now I have a very few simple example here, like maybe this is really relatable. So we go through them to kind of get an idea about what dictionary is and what are the kind of things that we can do going forward before we try some real examples. Alright, now first one, if you have my ATM card, okay, if let's say today I lost my card and then you pick it up somewhere, I'm very sure you can get my money, because most of the time I can tell you 80% of the population, the 6-digit PIN number is the 6 digit of your IC number. Trust me or not? If you don't trust me, okay, you don't have to tell me lah, because I know you are looking at the camera feeling guilty. And this is really like everyone is doing this, okay? Even the bank people who say do not use your IC number as your public bank card number, they use it themselves. They do it themselves because that is the number that we can remember most easily, right? So yeah, let me know on the chat. Do you also use your IC number in your ATM card? See, I'm doing some kind of social engineering here. Maybe I can hack you later. So yeah, that is for the first example. Bank password is auto-generated. You see, that's why no. So you guys actually so secure. Very good. But anyway, I can tell you honestly, I can say it out loud in the stream that my ATM card is really actually my 6-digit IC number, which I'm totally cool for you knowing it, because the real security for my card is not that 6-digit PIN number, it's the amount of money inside the account. When you go inside and then you see the balance left, you will feel so sad for me, you don't even want to steal my money. So that is ATM card. Now, another example is a web service. For example, Webber. Now, to hack web service, it's very hard for us to try A to Z 1 to 999. And here, you might need to know a bit more about the website and the user itself. So for example, you see, let's say Webber. Most of the time, there are only two possibilities I tell you. Either first one is the student don't change the default password. So if the default password is your student ID or your IC, then yeah, I can easily log into your account. Because your IC is public, I can see what is your IC number from the student portal, right? So I can also see your student ID here. And it is not a secret, and it's not hard for me to log into your account if you are still using your default username and password. But most of the people, they would change, okay? But the thing is, it wouldn't go too far from the original context. For example, if this is a website related to Utah, the password might contain my student ID. It could be my student ID plus with my IC, or my student ID plus with 2022, something like this. So what I'm trying to show you here is we have to get the context of the target or the server or the service that we are trying to hack right now. Now, the third example that you can see is a router. Okay, now a router is the most easy thing that you can hack, because I'm not sure about you, but I can say most users, they don't change default password for their routers. So that means if let's say you are using a router from TP-Link, the default username and password is actually admin, which means that anyone who is using TP-Link will be able to log in to that router using the default username and password. Now, this is one of the cool dictionary attack that we normally use, which is called default username and password. Now, for this, you will have to do some Google search. For example, you want to hack into an ASUS router, or maybe you want to hack into a Google Mesh router. Of course, you cannot know what is the original password, so you might have to Google search. And most of the time, this default password is printed on the manual itself, or even printed on the router. There's a label on the router, and then they print this kind of default SSID, default Wi-Fi password. Everything is sometimes printed there. So that is the default one. Okay. Now that's the third example. And if you are a seasoned hacker, you know how to crawl online using some Google docking skill. It's not hard for you to get all these default username and password. In fact, okay. And the worst thing is like some of the brands, they even share the same default username and password, like admin123. Your password is actually password. Okay, yeah, you're right, admin. So that is the third example. Now, fourth example is actually more relatable, but it's actually the hardest one, which is like you want to hack into a popular and very well secure service like Instagram, Facebook, or your TikTok, your Douyin, all these things. They are very, very well secured. Okay, because you know people earn money on Instagram. So if you manage to hack a public figure account, or so they call themselves public figure, then you can do a lot of things like, do you want to pay me some money to get your account back? Or should I now get some ads and then I start to put some ads on the account? Yeah, so there are many things you can do. So normally, but actually it's also hackable. You can see sometimes your friends say, oh, my Instagram account is lost. Don't reply to any message. So this shows that it is actually possible. But you have to be very smart. So when you try to crack for a service like this, you need to have a word list of password. So this is what we call by word list. And the word list will contain a set of possible passwords that we, the hacker, crawl from the internet. So password can be anything from like banana, mango, MacBook Pro, anything to Taylor Swift, Dua Lipa, anything that is relatable to me. Okay, so of course, what is relatable to me is not relatable to you. So now let's say if I want to hack Kenneth password, I do not know Kenneth like Taylor Swift or Dua Lipa, so it's quite hard for me to hack his password unless I know a little bit of him. So this is where social engineering comes in. Now you might heard of the thing called social engineering, where people try to ask, hey, do you like to eat mango? Now if you say yes, then maybe your password could be mango. There is a word mango inside your password. So that is social engineering. Okay, now I do not want to go there because I want to show you really an example of how we can use a word list to crack password. Okay, so now to talk more about word list, let's go to your try hack me task 7. So this is a word list called a rocku.txt. Hey Chong, don't use my example. This is the example I gave earlier. Cannot repeat the same joke twice because I have the same audience here. Wow, the chat suddenly is so active. After everyone know I don't have money left. Okay, YBB also got appear here. Okay, so now word list. Talk about word list. Again, there are many word lists out there. The one that I show you here is called a rocku.txt. Now this is a very popular one. Rocku.txt is like a central place where it's a leak of username and password. Sometimes you read news, you see, Facebook database has been breached. Cambridge Analytica leak our username and passwords. Now all these things, where they go? Where are your leaked password? They come to this file, rocku.txt. So in fact, this file contains all the password that has been leaked before. So maybe your password is even inside, how do you know? So let's try this example here. Suppose that the password is avocado99. Okay, I just want to cheat a little bit so you think I'm 99. And this is my password. How do I know whether the password has been leaked to the internet? It's very simple. Now let me show you. On your Kali now, you want to go to task 7. So this task 7 is just a demo. So in fact, you don't really do anything here. Now I'm doing cd double dot. cd double dot will bring me go up one level, and then this will bring me to the original here where I can see all the tasks. Then now I'm going to cd task 7. Again, I'm sorry that I cannot teach you all the basic command here. Your tutor in the lab might show you a bit, but I just want to make this clear, this is not part of cybersecurity. Okay, now I'm in task 7. I do a ls to list all the files I had, and I see a rocku.txt. So this is a password file, a file that contains password. So in fact, I can try to cat rocku.txt. We all know that if I cat, it will now show me all the things that is inside the file. So I press enter, you can see, wow, this is all the password, so many, like Star Wars, Starborn, Jackie, so many random password. You might even spot your own password inside, and it is going to print forever because this is a very large file that contains a very large collection of passwords. So it's going to take very long for us to print line by line, which is not a smart thing to do actually. I'm just trying to show you that we have all the password here. Okay, now rocku is actually, I think, a website. Initially, the name comes from a website where they have all the user account linked, which is why we have so many passwords, and now people start to build on it, and the list is getting bigger now. In fact, the latest rocku is 5 gig in size, 5 gig of text file, so it's like a lot of password inside. Okay, now what do you know? Maybe your password is so inside. Let us find out. So let's say if my password is avocado99, okay, I can do a cat rocku.txt. So let me show here. So find out if the password, now he don't want to autocorrect. Okay, avocado99 is leaked, okay, on rocku.txt. Okay, now we will now do a cat rocku.txt. So cat is to print like what you see here, but we don't really want to print it on the screen now. So we will now pass the output into a grep function. So grep is like the find function, okay, for you to find a text. So grab, and then I can just write avocado 99. So if later I see that this is inside, then oh no, my password has been leaked. That is how I know. Okay, now in the try hack me challenge, you see we use the function inf. This one is just to refine the search and to ignore the case, which if you want you can use, if you don't want then it's fine also. For those who want to know where all the command come from, you can actually see it in some other example. I think it's not here yet in the later example. So I'm just showing you before you need it. Alright, so this is the command here. Okay, you see, I can now come back here. Okay, let me clear screen first. So I do a cat now, rocku.txt, which contains all the password. I pass this into a grep functions to find whether my password is inside. I use the -if parameters options, and then the password goes here. So I can do something like avocado. In fact, I don't even have to do an exact search. So I can see, these are all the password that has the word avocado inside. Okay, so it's actually quite a number of them. Is the password already leaked? Yeah, it's leaked. Okay, you see here, one of the password is avocado99. So this, I mean, someone who like to eat avocado, who is born in 1999, might have used this password. So actually, the password has been leaked. So if you today now, you can try your password. Try your password. Anyone want to volunteer? Give me your password. Let me try it so that I can show everyone. And if you see your password inside, please, it's time to change your password. Okay. So you can actually try to see whether yours has been leaked. Now again, this file is updated very frequent. So what I show you here, maybe now you are safe, but maybe tomorrow you are not safe anymore. Okay, so you know lah, don't click on the website that you shouldn't go. Okay. Let me try pink banana. Okay, later we try to log into Chong Instagram using pink banana. Okay, anyway, we can just try rocku.txt grep if pink banana. Pink banana is already leaked. Change password. I think you should change your password now. I handsome. Let me try I handsome to see whether this is leaked or not. That's why sometimes you see there are some websites that will say your password has been leaked. You should change your password. This is because they also can detect something like this. I handsome. No, it's not leaked yet. You are safe. Continue to use that password. Cheese and pizza. I don't even want to try for the password that has special character, because then it's going to take very long and most likely you are safe. It is not that. Okay, I try something with Najib. Let's see any people have password contain Najib. Oh, so many Najib. I think Najib got so many account here. See? Or maybe this is his fan that follow him on Facebook. So many Najib. Okay. You can try this on your own because you already know how. Okay, so you try this on your own. Anyway, let's come back to try hack me, and then for this answer is yes. Okay, so this is yes. Rosma account password no need to guess. I think is let me tell you something. Or is it I want to discuss something with you. Okay, now the next question. Okay, state the command to add a custom password. So sometimes you also want to modify the word list, like the example I show you here. Because of all these things, if you attack Weber, you might want to use student ID. If you attack Instagram, you might want to use the pet name of that target. So you need to customize the word list a little bit. Okay, now I'll show you a very simple demo on how I do the customizations, but you don't have to do this on your site. Hey, you guys are so excited. Try this on your own later. Now, I can try to check whether the password UCCN122, anything with UCCN is inside. Okay, I think in fact here I have, because I already modified the file earlier. Now if you try this on your site, you will not see anything like this. All these are not here yet. Okay, so wait, let me. Okay, this is too big. Okay, now, so what I want to show you in this example is sometimes you want to add a more relatable example. So for example, we guess that the target like to eat banana, okay, while listening to Taylor Swift Shake It Off. Okay, so this is a clue that I know about the target. So here, I might want to use some keyword called banana, Taylor, Tay, as they call it, the nickname, shake it off, something like this. Okay, so in fact, all these things we can add this to the rock you word list manually. So the way I add, let's say I want to add banana. So I will just use echo, because you know if I echo banana, this will print out the word banana, right? So I echo banana, and then I use this symbol to pipe. Now you cannot use one forward sign, means you want to overwrite the whole file. So you want to add append. Now you want to append, so you will use double forward sign. This one means to add one line inside the text file. So I can add banana inside rocky.txt. Then in the end, you will see the banana appear inside. Of course, banana is a common word, so it's not going to be very special. So why not I do something like this? I add banana 2022. Okay, Taylor. Now I add this. See, now if I try to check back the file, you will now see that banana 2020, this password here will appear. Why not there? Oh, it's 2022. So banana 2020 is now inside the word list. So if the user is actually having this password, then more likely you have the better chance to crack the password. So I want to be honest, nothing I show here is like magic. If I'm so great, I will be working in NASA now. Or NASA will be very scared of me now. No. Most of these things are textbooks example. I show you how to crack a simple password. Doesn't mean you can crack a very complex password with a lot of special characters unless you build a custom word list. Okay, so this is word list. I can give you some more examples, but again, this is extra. So if you do not know what is happening, this is totally fine. Okay, this is just an example, but you don't need to know how I do the command. So for example, let's say our is teaching cybersecurity this trimester, right? So if I change password recently, most likely I will change to a recent thing that happened to me. So maybe the password contain something like this, but it could be our teach security with cyber security. Okay, or it could be teach our cyber security, or it could be something like cyber security teach our. It sounds a bit weird, but yeah, something like this. So password can be a permutation of many things combined together. Now, in fact, on Linux, there is this program called Crunch that can do this for us. Okay, again, this one just for fun, don't panic. So for example, if I know that the password is 6 characters, so the length is 6 characters, all A to Z possible. Okay, now I can make a word list, manual one, the custom word list using this program Crunch. I can type a command like this, and then I say pass1.txt. Okay, now this program will generate password, all possible passwords. So if you don't want to use rock you can do something like this as well. It might take a bit long because 6 alphabets is actually quite a large number. So it's just 13%. It's taking very long. Okay, maybe I change the example to 44. Okay, otherwise we'll just sit here and wait. Okay, so I do something similar, but the password is not that long. Maybe we say 4 characters. So the password is 4 characters. So let it generate. So what this is doing now is he will build a password that contains AAAB, AAAC until ZZZZ. So in fact, you can also see the password file here. It will be all 4 characters that start with all A until all Z. Okay, so if you are really want to hack people, you have to learn this, because the rock you file that I give you might not contain the password that your friend is using. Now another example is this example that I showed you earlier. It could be any of these three words. So I can also use this program called crunch. Now let's say just write a random number here. Then I use the option -p. This is to do permutation. So I have three words. I will teach cybersecurity. Then I generate to the password file called password2.txt. Then in a while, it will now try to build a password list for me. Now you can also see something like this is how it will look like. Okay. So all the possible combination of all the words that I think could be the password is now being permuted. So you don't have to guess whether which word comes first and which word comes next, because now you can have a list of all possible combinations and then just ask, use Linux to try and crack the password. Okay, now I can also do something like this. Let's say your birthday. Most of us like to put birthday and birth year. So someone here, can you share what is your birthday? The first 6 digits of your IC number. Someone give me your first 6 digits of your IC number. Put it on the chat. I want to use that as example. I promise I won't hack your public bank. Okay, see, Beijing got into a trap of my social engineering. Okay, I use the first one, Beijing 1991204. So I'm guessing that the password might contain birthday. So 991204. Is this correct, right? 1204. Okay. So remember, before Christmas, send him a gift. Okay. Now it could be something like his name followed by 991204. Okay. Or it could be anything in front. But let's say we know that the password, okay, ends with this 6 digit. So in front we don't know. Then what we can do is we can also generate a password like this. So I can use crunch and then maybe I do 88 crunch 88-t. So for example, I might have a few characters in front. Then 991204. I try to print this to password 3.txt. Okay. Oh, this is supposed to be 9. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this should be 9. Now don't worry about the syntax. I'm just trying to show you what is possible out there. Okay. If you want to learn more, of course, you can try this out using my some other tutorial. So you can see now it gives us this thing, all possible character in front and end by all these number, which is actually quite common. You know, most people they put some words like their girlfriend name in front, followed by their birthday or something. So this is actually quite dangerous if you think about it. Like I can also say something like, okay, I know for sure this guy is a narcissist, right? He loved himself so much, he called his name so many times in a 2-hour class. So I will, but behind there got a few more numbers. Let's say 4 numbers, but I do not know what number. You can also use crunch to generate like 1111, owl 2222. Okay, for example, something like this. I can do a crunch, and let's say I have 7 characters, and then -t number is this one. So okay, I have owl followed by, let's say 4 numbers. Okay, then I print this to pass4.txt. Okay, so in a while you're going to see we have a password list. Let's see what we have. Password4.txt, and you can see for yourself. Now owl is my name followed by all different possible numbers here. See? So it is very useful if you know a little bit about the target, like what they like, what they eat, what song they listen to, what is their favorite color, what is the team that they support, right? If you are a Manchester United fan, I know you'll be sad today, but don't worry, we have to carry on and be strong. But yeah, something like that will help you to build a list that you can use to have a better chance to crack password. Okay, so that is Wordlists. Now the next thing is I will show you how to crack password already. So today, for the last 15 minutes, we will do task 8 and task 9. Okay, these two together to really show you how to crack password. Okay, I'm worried the attendance will be expired again. okay lah, why not we do this? For this class, if we have more than 400 students, I assign attendance for you. Let's see, 435. Okay, then this class no need to scan. I'll assign all the attendance for you. So that you can actually focus on the last part, right? So we are in task 8 now. And now we're going to learn how to use John the Ripper to hack some password given the hash file. So you have to be very clear about what we already have. So if you look at the slides here, let's say this is an example. Okay, now we assume that you already have this file. So let's say I give you 59944. Can you find out what is the original password? Yes, this is possible if we use the program John. John is a password cracker where now we are used to crack and get back the original password if we have the password digest. Okay, now John is already installed and come together with Kali. So now I'm going to show you how you can use John, what are the commands that are involved to get back the original password. Now, of course, this example is that I already give you the hash file. Okay, if you want to hack a real person, you have to find a way to get the hash file. So for example, now you want to hack the Windows password to log into your Microsoft window. Can you get the hash file? Yes, very easy. In fact, on Windows, there is one folder that keep all the hash files. So if you manage to get your hand on that folder, actually you get all the hash file that you can use to crack the password. Okay, but now let's make this simple for everyone. Let's assume that you already have the password hash. So we are just going to reverse engineer to get the original password. All right. Yes. Why not they name this John Cena? Then it sounds even more brutal. Okay, so I'm back to my Kali. cd double dot, go to task 8. So now I want to get into my task 8. Okay. So in task 8, I have the same hash file. So these are the hash 1, 2, 3, and 4 are exactly the same file that we had in exercise 6, where we learned to identify what are the hash type. Now, just now remember I said that you need to know what are the type first before you can crack. This is why you need to know. So first one, if you remember, is MD5. The second one is a SHA1. The third one is SHA256, and the fourth one is a whirlpool. We knew this from task 6. Okay. Now we can use John to crack but we need two things. So the first thing you need is the hash file or the password hash. So we already have all these things here is a password hash. Alright. The second thing you need is John the program, and of course John the program is definitely you need that. Then you need a word list. Word list we are going to use froggy.txt for this example. Like you already know in task 7, this is the file which contains all the possible passwords. Alright, so what actually happened here is very simple. Let me give you one example. Okay, so you have a hash, a password hash. I have to use red color because somehow it doesn't allow me to change color. Okay, so this is a password hash. For example, now this password hash is AX12ABB something. Okay, so this is the goal. Then we have word list. Word list inside is all the password like AAB, AAC, and so on. Alright, so then we have a hash functions in between. For example, say this is MD5. Okay, so what we are doing right now is we take every password here one by one. We put this inside the hash functions. We try to hash this to see what is the result. Okay, so for example, if I hash the first one, the result could be 1, 2, 3, 8AB something. Then I take this result, I compare it to this hash that I have. This is the password hash. Alright? If these two are the same, then I know this is the original password that created this hash value. Alright? So it's like if I can't even erase this thing. Okay, so I hope you get what I show here. So for example now, if you didn't get it, just very quickly I give you one more example. So this is a hash password. Okay, password hash 211AXD or something. Then in the word list, you have all the possible password. Okay, 1XYZ Abu Ali. Okay, now you want to try one by one hash functions, put it inside to see what is the value. Put it inside to see what is the value. Put it inside. Now you try all. I'm quite sure one of them will give you 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 1 or something. If these two is the same, then we know that this is the original password because they produce the same hash value. Alright, so do you get how this works now? Sorry that I cannot draw using the notepad, which is going to be even clearer, but too many things running. Okay, so now you understand. We will now try to crack. Okay, hold on. Let me open another file here. Okay, so now the syntax that we use to crack. First time I will show you slowly, then it becomes very fast. Okay, so the syntax is John. Now this John is already installed, so you can run this anywhere. You see, doesn't matter where I am. If I type the command John, it will just run the command. Okay, of course now it is asking you for some input because it doesn't have enough thing to crack the password yet. So that's John, and then you need to follow by a double colon format equal to the hash type. Now this command is also on try-hack-me. If you want, you can check that out. Now the next one is the word list. The second parameter is the word list. So here we will use drop_u.txt. Okay, and then the last parameter is the hash file that you want to crack. So if we do for the first one here, this one, hash1, then here will be hash1. Okay, so this is the general syntax. You only need three things. First, you need to tell John what is the hash functions. If you don't, then it will take very long. So for example, the first one is MD5. So you have to tell John this is an MD5. Okay, then you have to tell John where is the password file. This one John have to try one by one until he get the password. Then this is the password hash. Okay, so three things. Now before that, one extra thing is the format type must follow specific syntax. So you cannot just randomly write MD5 or SHA or SHA256 here. You need to follow the syntax that's given by John, that is supported by John. Alright, so how do I know what are the format? So you have to use this command called John -list equal to formats. See, so this is the command to tell me what are the keywords that I should use when I want to crack with John. So if I press this, you will see these are all the keywords, which is actually a lot of them. Now this is not possible for me to see. So for example, now I want to know what is the keyword to type if I want to crack a MD5 checksum. Okay, so I will use the command John double dash list equal formats with an S. Alright, this will show all. Then I want to grab to find anything that is related to MD5. Because I don't want to see too many, so I want to narrow down, filter down the search. So you see, if I do this now, I can clear the screen first. Then I do John list equal to formats. Alright, we know that this is going to print out everything, but we only want to see the thing that are related to MD5 now. And now you see it's actually less output, and we can now start to find what is the keyword. Okay, now because this is our first time, I'll just tell you what is the keyword. This one here, raw MD5, is the correct syntax for you to crack MD5. Alright, raw SHA1 is the syntax for you to crack SHA. And then later on, I'll show you 256. It's not shown here. Okay, now based on what we know here, this is the syntax. Okay, now we go back to this command here. I will write raw MD5. So this is the full command. John, the hash type is raw MD5. I will use the word list rocku.txt, which is all the password inside here. And I want you to try to crack the password for the hash1.txt. Okay, now we can try to write this command into your curly. So John :format equal to raw MD5, then the word list rocku.txt and hash1.txt, just like that, exactly what I showed you in the notepad file earlier. So I press enter, and then now John will start to crack. So it's so fast, so fast. Wow. Immediately in a few seconds, you can see the password here is shown. The original password is biscuit. So now we know the password is biscuit. And this is like really cool. Okay. For this example, you might not feel it's cool because you get it too easy, so fast. Why so fast? Because biscuit is a very weak password. If I want to crack a weak password, it will just take me a few milliseconds. Now, but think about this. Think about the things that you can actually do with this thing. Using the same syntax, the same command, the same program, if you have any one hash value, you can actually spend a bit of time, of course, and John can tell you what is the original password. And with this, you can actually use his password now, whether to log into Windows or to log into a server or to a website, but we have your password. This is same time cool, at the same time quite dangerous if you think about it. Now, so that is how you get the first password. So if you get the first password, just go back to try hack me, and you type the password in. The first one is biscuit, then you get the marks. Now I try for hash2. Okay, now actually the clue is already here. Hash2, the answer is kangaroo, because a small kangaroo here. But anyway, I will really show you step by step how to do this. Okay, now first thing, we are going to try to crack the password for hash number 2. So we use the command John followed by the format equal to. Now this one you have to be careful. What is the format that I should write for this SHA1? We know that this is SHA1. So of course the right step is, before you do that, you have to list all the formats and then try to find something that is related to SHA1. Okay, press enter, and then you try to see. And in fact, this is the one. This is the syntax, raw SHA1. Okay, now, so if I want to do this, I will now change this to a raw SHA1, and then here I change to hash2. The rest we just keep it, because we still use the same password file, but now we want to crack another hash. Okay, now let's see how this works. Now John, the format will be raw SHA1, and then again I'm going to use the same word list rocku.txt, which actually contain millions of passwords already, and now I want to crack for hash2.txt, and in a while you see, boom, there you go, kangaroo is the password for this hash file. So this is how I actually can tell you password is not safe, because you see what I do here. If your password is strong, then you don't worry. But if you're using a weak password, or your password is in the rocku file, I can actually know your password so easily, because it's not hard for me to get the hash file. Now in fact, I want to show you one more thing. I can also actually try to do a SHA sum for kangaroo. So you know, if I do echo -n kangaroo, this word here, and then I use sha1 sum, I will get this hash value. Okay, now if I cat the hash2.txt which contain the password hash for kangaroo, you will see now these two are the same. So what I just done is the other way. Of course, this one is what the server do. Every time I try to log into a website, the password must be hashed into this value. Then this is sent to the server. The server will check whether this one match with the hash value that they have on the DB. Okay. Now, so you see, this is what the attacker get. With this thing here, if you use John, like what I just showed you, you can recover back the plain text, the real password, kangaroo. This is like, wow, really cool. Okay, now we are almost finished the class. So now I'll just finish up with the two other examples in task 8, and then I'll see you on next class on Wednesday. So Wednesday is even more cool because I will teach you how to hack a website and then how to crack into a SSH server. So if you think this is cool, Wednesday will be double the cool. Okay, now let me finish this one before we go. So now I have hash3, and we know that hash3 is using hash-id.py. So same thing, I'll now use John, and I try to list the format to get what is the syntax that I should type. Okay, and then I want SSH256. Okay, sorry, it's supposed to be formats. So in a while you will see, yeah, this is the what, raw SSH256. Okay, so to construct the command here, I'll just change this to 256. And here, now we want to crack for hash number 3. So now you also see why in the first place we need to know what is the type of hash that we are dealing with, right? So now to solve for the third one, dash format equal to raw SSH256, and the word list is still the same one unless you think there is a better one that you can use, hash3.txt. So this is the full command. Okay, I changed the hash type so that John knows what kind of thing that he should use to crack using the same password file. And for hash3, press enter, and now you see the password is microphone. Go to try hack me, put this in, you get 2 marks. Now we try for the last example. So last example is whirlpool. Alright, so same, I'm going to find out what is the format that I should use, and then I add whirlpool. And yeah, in fact there's only so few, and this is the right one. This is the right keyword. Okay, so I'm going to build a new command using John to crack hash4.txt that is hashed using this whirlpool algorithm. So here the format should be whirlpool, and here the new file name should be hash4, which is the password hash hashed by the whirlpool that we knew from task 6. Alright, so if we do this now, format equal to whirlpool, which is actually hard to spell. Okay, word list rockU.txt. Now of course this word list you can change to some other custom password list if you have a better one. Then the last one is hash4.txt. So this is the full command here. Okay, and with this I can very sure in a while I will be able to see the password for this hash4 is colossal. Even though I say it's very hard to crack, whirlpool is very strong. Cryptographically is very strong. The hash is so long, but you see I can also crack. So in fact, what I want you to take away now is 2 things. First, you should already know how to crack a password if you have the password digest using John, and with that you can do many things. Good or bad, you must remember one thing I told you before: be an ethical hacker. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is password is not really safe. Okay, if you have a very important account like your bank account or some other account that you keep a lot of favorites video, don't use a simple password. Okay, yeah, so that's pretty much everything I want to show you today. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you again on Wednesday 6 to 8, and we'll learn even more about how to hack a web server. Okay, so see you then. Enjoy your lab this week. Bye bye.